Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the November 30th edition of Monday Marketing Minutes. I'm John Turino. My little company is called John Turino Marketing and Connections, and I'll be your host here for the next 20 or 30 minutes. We also have a great guest speaker coming on a little bit later in the broadcast, Mr. Leon Henry from Webstep Company in the UK. Far away, mid-afternoon for him, morning for us. We're going to talk a little bit about today's marketing tips and marketing advice. I have some of both for you. But the main purpose of this broadcast is to answer your questions, to find out what burning issues are affecting you, and to see if we can't give you some answers to those. So the key is to make sure that you ask questions as we go through. You'll see there's a question area in the upper right-hand corner there, and I will try to keep an eye on that so that I can answer your questions as they come in. I also have some questions this week from a viewer from last week's episode, so we'll be talking about that as well. I will not be checking email during the broadcast, so that thing that says email your questions to john@johntorino.com, that's for next week, not for today. For today, please use the question box in the live broadcast. And as I say, I'll try to keep an eye on that and make sure that I answer your questions as they come in. So, today's tips. Let's talk a little bit about it. I wonder how many of you have actually got numbers to tell you what marketing efforts you're using that are working and that are not working. There are a lot of tools that are available on your social media platforms to help you figure out who's visiting your website or your social media sites. So on the website with Google Analytics, how long they visit, how many pages they visit, when they drop off, where they entered in, a lot of good information that you can glean from your Google Analytics for your website. And in fact, you can submit your Facebook, LinkedIn, and other social media pages to Google Analytics so that you can get information about those platforms as well. Or if you just want to use the apps themselves, there's insights on Facebook, and there's your statistics on LinkedIn. If you're using your blog, it will show you how many people have looked at it. So make sure you're measuring your marketing efforts so that you know which ones are working and which ones don't work. And what you want to do is fine-tune the process on a continuous basis so that you do more of those that work and you do less of those that don't work. A pretty simple formula, but it's really important. I've seen so many people who just don't realize how much money and time and effort they might be spending on something that is actually not bringing them any kind of return on investment. So today's tip is measure your marketing efforts using the tools that are available, and then make adjustments and fine-tune your strategy as time goes by. If you have other suggestions you'd like me to share with the other viewers of this broadcast, please do put them in the question box now, and we will get to them as soon as I get them in here. Today's advice deals with another topic, and that topic is the power of free. I did a blog post on this quite some time ago, actually. I think it was way back in 2013. And I was combing through some of those old posts to see what might be an appropriate topic today when I came across that blog post. Think about the power of free. If you offer something free to people, it may build interest in the other things that you have. It certainly may build credibility. If you did an ebook, for example, and I have one called the Marketing Plan Development ebook, which I give away free. And it outlines the steps that people should use in creating a marketing plan. It was, in fact, the basis of a whole seminar that I did, and that seminar is available on Udemy as a course. And build credibility by offering a sample or a piece free, and you can build awareness of what it is your product or your service is. And this really helps to build your audience. You can add to your mailing list if you've got the right kind of landing pages. You can get more shares, get more interaction, all kinds of things if you offer something of value for free. Providing free information really does work. Think about the bakery that's got the little sample of muffins up there or pastries or something like that. You take a bite of one of those or a piece of a cinnamon roll, and all of a sudden, wow, yeah, maybe I will buy that package of cinnamon rolls. Free trials are another tactic that convert to sales. I use, for example, the whole contact management system because it was free when I started with it. I now have 1,800 people in that, and it's unlikely that I'm going to try to move that to something else, even if that something else might be a little better today or have been improved, simply because I've so much invested in it that I clearly don't want to go through the work. And yes, I could, I'm sure, export the contacts, but I believe I'd lose a lot of notes and information and perhaps history as I move them to a different platform. So you can often use a free trial to get somebody sucked in, if you will, to set that hook and see if you can't then convert them to a paying user as your business gets bigger. I have that situation where I use MailChimp, and I used it for free for quite some time until my list exceeded 2,000 people. At that point, I had to start paying for it, but I certainly wasn't going to try to move everything to a new platform simply because I already had so much invested. I'd been through the learning curve. I knew how to use it. I knew what it looked like and all that sort of thing. So the other piece of that free thing is the basic accounts pattern, where you set up a basic account that's free and it's not quite full-featured. I do the same thing right now with this XSplit broadcast application. The day will come when I need to get rid of the XSplit logo there, the watermark, and the day will come when I need perhaps the professional editing and stuff like that. But for now, it works just fine as a basic account, and later on I will pop up and add a professional account to it and begin to pay for it. So there's a lot of things out there that you can both get free to help you build your business and to offer to people to help build your business. Hootsuite is another one. Buffer is another one for social media applications. So lots of things like that. And as I say, I offer the Marketing Plan Seminar ebook on request. All you have to do is email me at john@johnturino.com, and I'll be happy to send one off to you. I don't see any questions yet, but at this point, I think to stimulate the discussion, I'd like to turn this over to my friend Leon Henry. Leon runs a company called WebStep in the UK, in England, and he's going to regale us with information about what he does and how he may do it. So, Leon, it is all yours.
John, it's a pleasure and a great honor to be here with you. I must admit, you definitely brought us some good gems here to most of us in the marketing world and the business world. I'm just going to share my screen with you to move over. Let me know if you can actually see this.
Yep.
You can see my screen? Excellent.
Yes, I can see it. Yep.
All right, we'll commence. Thank you once again, John, for the wonderful introduction. As you can see, my name is Leon Henry, and I'm from the WebStep. Just a bit of the background of me and what I do. I am a professional marketeer here in the United Kingdom. I've worked within the information technology sector for over 25 years. Served some of the Fortune 500 companies that you see in today's mainstream media. The NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange, Thomson Financial, and BBC, just to name a few. As John touched on here. He touched on some of these social media platforms. So that's what I'm going to be really talking about very, very briefly. So not in great depth. So if you're new to this, I'm just going to give you some tips and some advice on this particular area, where you can actually go out there and use them for yourself. Moving on, and this is the company I was referring to, the Web Step, where we, in our company, again provide consulting and compelling marketing strategies for business owners to alleviate their all problems that they have, and you can go and effectively run the business. I'm also a senior lead automation technical assistant, where we've generated about 25 billion paid ads and more, on all the other platforms, your Googles, your Facebooks, your Bings. So you probably clicked on one of our ads. Our average sort of end user spends anywhere to £750,000 with us on a sort of yearly basis. So moving along, just some of the companies. Social media itself and their platforms, when we're looking for our business, we should start off saying, hey, do I really need social media for my business? And is it something that it's really thought about? The reason why I say this sometimes, because many business owners come to us and say, hey, I want to do this, probably Facebook campaign or Twitter campaign, and they're unaware of what all the actual components that make up social media. So before I go delve into that, I just want to give you this graph and understanding what's happening in the social media world and how many platforms there are there that people are using today. So this graph you're seeing in front of me right now is a representation of all the users on each particular platform. To the left, obviously, you've got Facebook itself towering ahead, and this particular area is commonly used for Facebook users. There's other platforms that you may not know of, as QQ. I can mention some of them: WhatsApp. Let me go down to Skype, Twitter, Google+. So you can see there's a tremendous amount of social media platforms that any business owner that needs to really keep up with. It's a bit of a chore to do. So this is why we have to ask the question, why social media? Why should we use it for our business? So this is actually taken from something called Statistica, if you really want to go back and have a look at it. But I really want to focus on the one right at the end. You may think it's small, but it's really, really powerful, and that's LinkedIn. So when we're looking at social media, I'm just going to touch on these points here because it's quite important that any business owner should really, really focus on sort of best practices to find someone that knows what they're talking about within this area. Get a trusted professional consultant, because they will know about this better than you before you go out. And if you do find somebody that knows what it is, ask a lot of questions. You've got a lot of resources out there, like John said, these applications and things like that. But also find out, is this right for your business? Plan ahead. You're going to write a lot of content. Like today, this is video marketing as well, and this is good for social media. Once again, content is king. Excuse me. But again, be consistent with your content if you're going into social media, okay? And keep your marketing measures clear. As John said, track and measure the results. It's quite important, because if you don't, you really don't know what is working and what's not. So I'm going to keep that short and sweet, because obviously I've only got 5 minutes here today. John, do you want to come back in?
Thank you so much, Leon. I certainly appreciate that. And folks who are watching here, if you have questions for Leon, you can put those into the question box as well, and I will do my darndest to get them to him and give him a chance to answer them as well. As I said at the beginning of this broadcast, the whole purpose of Monday Marketing Minutes is to provide some value to you at no cost. That sounds a little bit like the power of free. Anyway, the idea is to answer your questions to help you with the issues that you're facing, and this is where you'll get answers. I did seminars for many, many years all over the world, and I've often told my seminar audiences, in fact, almost every time, the only stupid question is a question you don't ask. Because if you don't ask it, you are guaranteed not to get an answer. So if you don't ask questions during this broadcast, I certainly can't answer them. And you can, as I say, put them up in real time. And then for next week, if you haven't got one this week, you can email them to john@johnturino.com. And remember that it's not really rocket science to get those questions and answers in. Now, as I said earlier, we did get some questions in from one of the viewers from last time. They're not necessarily as marketing oriented as I would have expected. They're more networking oriented. But networking is certainly a portion of your marketing mix, especially if you're doing business to business, because people buy from people they know and like and trust, and there's only so much knowing, liking, and trusting you can build with the social media platforms. So oftentimes you really do have to get out and press the flesh, as the politicians or say, or kiss the babies. So Nana Bellerud, who is a friend of mine who I know from my networking events, is a financial advisor with Principal Financial Group. And so she gave me these questions via email. She says, first of all, I know it takes time to get my business from networking groups, chambers of commerce, etc. But how long is long enough? How do I know when to stop going to a particular group? And that's a fairly common question. And it's not an easy one to answer in absolutes. The answer often is, it depends. And that's not the consultant's cop-out. It really does depend. Chambers of commerce can be a little tougher than leads groups or other kinds of networking groups where you only have one person per profession in the group. If you want to succeed at networking, you need to get involved, particularly with chambers of commerce, on one of their committees. The membership committee, the marketing committee, government affairs committee if they have one, the education committee, the program committee. Get involved in something to help people know and like and trust you so that they know they can depend on you to contribute. If they know you can contribute in the chamber environment, chances are they'll know you can contribute in the business environment. But how do you know when to stop? I'd say you got to give something at least 6 months, and I would recommend give it a year. And if you've gotten no business out of it over a period of a year, I would say it's time to drop out of there because it's clearly not going to do you much good. Her next question dealt with social media. Do I need to be doing all this social media stuff? And again, there's no concrete yes or no absolute answer to that. It depends. What are you selling? Who are you selling to? Are you selling to consumers? In which case, Facebook might be a wonderful social media platform to use. Or are you selling business to business, where LinkedIn might be a better platform for you? Are you selling something that lends itself to a platform like Pinterest or Instagram, where it's mainly pictures? Or could you use YouTube as a platform to use video marketing, or create your marketing as videos and then post them on YouTube or LinkedIn and Facebook? So in today's world, I think it's important to have some kind of a social media presence in addition to your website. And you do have a professional website, right? So the answer is yes, you need to be doing at least some social media stuff. And then the third question she sent in does again deal with the networking issue. How long should I speak per person at a big networking event? She wants to talk to as many people as she can, but doesn't want to grab a business card or run to the next position. I have a little course that I put up on a new platform called Yes Course that's called Business Networking Necessities niceties, and no-nos that really goes into this question in depth. In general, typically 3 to 5 minutes per person is about the right amount of time to speak with anybody at a networking event. More importantly, you want to set a goal in the beginning before you get there as to how many people you want to speak to and what kind of people you want to speak to. Because the what kind is probably even more important as the how many. It's really quality that counts and not necessarily quantity. You clearly don't want to be that person who runs around handing out business cards and grabbing business cards and then bringing them home and putting them in a box that you never follow up on. Because the biggest reason people fail at networking is that they don't follow up. So that's pretty much a critical thing. But in general, I would say probably 3 to 5 minutes is a pretty good time to consider per person. So Nana, I hope that answers your questions, and I certainly do appreciate your sending those to me. It's very important, as I say, that I try to add value here and do the things that folks need and value as we go through. So that's the majority of the tips and advice and answering questions for today. I have lots more information available for you if you go to my website at johnturino.com. You can also check out past Monday Marketing Meeting broadcasts up on YouTube. And if you go to the Monday Marketing Meeting page on my website, you'll find links to all of the past ones, including this one, which will be up for replay in about, probably half an hour to 45 minutes. I run a calendar called the Networking Calendar on my website. If you click on the calendar page, I keep track of all the kinds of events that are important and interesting to people, primarily business to business, but some business to consumer here in the Portland area. I do charge for that. It's $5 a month, but it'll save you 20 minutes to an hour every month or every week or sometimes every day in finding and culling through all of the events that you might want to go to. So I do that work for you, and I would suggest you check it out and subscribe to that. There are lots of publications. If you click on the link that says products, packages, and pricings on my website, you'll see ebooks on marketing and sales and networking. Some are free, some I charge nominal fees for, like $3.99 or $4.95. They all come with money-back guarantees, so if you don't feel they were worth your few dollars, then I'll certainly refund your money for you. You'll find links to the online courses that I mentioned, the networking course on Yes Course and the marketing plan seminar on Udemy. And you'll find a couple of full pages of resources and links that can be of value to you as well. Lots of different organizations, many of them national, a few international, and a few local, but a pretty broad set of resources that are available to you out there. So I would encourage you to visit that website and see if there's not something there that can help you. I can only hope, because I still didn't get any questions in here, that you found today's marketing tips and advice valuable. I will, as I say, be happy to answer questions for next week's broadcast on November 30th. In the Monday Morning Minutes, obviously at 9 o'clock on Monday mornings. We will have another guest presenter, and I want to say thanks again to Leon from the UK for spending some time with us today. Next week's guest presenter is going to be a surprise. And in the meantime, as I say, please do send your questions to me at john@johnturino.com. So if there are no other questions, and I haven't seen any yet, I will not waste your time or my time. I will end this broadcast and invite you to come watch next week. The replay, as I said, will soon be available. Send your questions. We have Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. coming up this week, so happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey and dressing. Thank you again for participating, and have a great week.